Western horse was a master of a hard world, pitted for centuries against half-wild bovines. Ferocious predators, brutal weather, and the sheer size of the country they had to cover. Their descendants are still nimble, fast, and courageous, with a rock-solid disposition that makes them beloved the world over. In this next half hour, you'll see them in action here on Horse of the West.
State Fair Park in Oklahoma City, the horse show capital of the world and home of the National Reining Horse Association Open Futurity. It's the oldest, the richest, the most prestigious championship in reining. Only 29 riders in NRHA history have earned the title that will set them apart for life.
We work for so many hours and do crazy things and sacrifice so much in our lives. And when that dream finally comes true, it's unbelievable.
You know, you just dream of being in that spotlight in that moment. Yeah, that's what keeps us all going, is dreaming of that moment.
Feels great. You know, it's a lot of fun, and you don't ever lose that fever to want to go through that gate on Saturday night and try to run at these young guys.
For some, just getting to the Level 4 finals to compete with the best in reining can be the work of years.
It's a dream for me. You know, all my life I worked to get to the point where my idols become my rivals. And today that dream came true. I made it back to the Open with 2 horses.
Cole Price of Pilot Point, Texas made his first Level 4 finals just last year, and this year is back with the maximum of 3 horses qualified. In Cole Price's Futurity string is a daughter of NRHA $2 million sire Walla Walla Whiz named Isn't She Perfect? She and Cole won the Buckeye Futurity and scored a 227 in the prelims.
You know, this is a dream come true, and this is where I want to be. This is what I've always wanted to do, and just a dream to have 3 horses in the finals.
Cole Price decided after his first finals in 2017 that he would be back.
Listen, last year was his first year in, and we were sitting out back before they did the introductions. He said, I think I got this deal figured out, and boy, was he right. You know, he said he knew what it takes to get to the Futurity finals now, and he came loaded, ready to go this year.
Jason Van Landingham won the Futurity in 2013 on a son of NRHA $1 million sire, a sparkling vintage named Not Rough at All, a stallion that went on to become the NRHA's highest earner of all time. Jason has 1 horse this year, another son of a sparkling vintage named A Vintage Smoke. These 2 won the 2018 High Roller Reining Classic. 2-time Futurity champion Casey Deary has the 2 horses qualified here that he was first and second on at the All-American Quarter Horse Congress. Reserve champion Gunnar Ricochet had the highest combined score in the 2 prelims here at the Futurity, and he's also qualified Congress champion America's Supermodel, daughter of the mare Casey, won his first NRHA Futurity on America's Next Gun Model.
This is her very first foal to hit the ground, and they are identical. You know, they're weird, they're incredibly talented, and it's hard for me, but I have to be smarter than she is to get her trained. If I get in a wrestling match with her, she wins every time.
3-time NRHA Futurity champion Andrea Fapani has qualified 3 horses, including Reining by the Bay champion Designed to Spark and Tulsa Futurity Reserve champion Monte Carlo.
It's a horse that really adapted to my program. He's really elegant and powerful at the same time, so I think it's a horse that's going to keep improving and do well for us.
NRHA $1 million rider Del Hendricks of Tioga, Texas has been dividing his time between reining and rein cow horse for the last few years. He's got a nice reiner here at the NRHA Futurity Finals, a son of a sparkling vintage named Vintage Jewels, owned by Christy Clark. Del likes to go for it, and he does.
I just like to go for it, you know. I want to leave it all out there. I don't want to putt short. Nothing worse than not giving yourself a chance.
Del and Vintage Jewels set the bar with a 221.5.
You know, Michael's a good horse, and every time I've shown him, he's stepped up 1 notch. I just wanted to go out there and give him an opportunity to show what he could do.
We have a couple of reiners essentially catch riding here at the NRHA Futurity. Mike McIntyre of Ione, California is riding Everett and Karen Wiggins' Paleface Whiz by NRHA $1 million sire Paleface Dunnett out of the string of NRHA $4 million rider Craig Smersall. Mike and Paleface Whiz have a great run together, moving into the lead with a 222.5.
It felt great. He gave it all, for sure. He's an awesome horse. I've ridden him a week before the Futurity here. My buddy Craig let me ride him, catch ride him, and Craig sure had him broke. So, you know, I know Craig's program, and I really hooked with this horse, and we've had a good horse show.
NRHA $2 million rider Todd Bergen of Eagle Point, Oregon is also catch riding this week, picking up a mount from his good friends Tom and Mandy McCutcheon, who had a surplus of 3-year-olds.
I started riding him about a week before the show and didn't know a whole lot about him, but he's a good little show horse. I mean, he's kind of quirky outside and spooks and stuff, but you walk in the pen and he shows great.
Todd Bergen and Gunner's Bright Night by NRHA $2 million sire Gunner's Special Night earn a 221.5 to move into a tie for second.
Catch riding's fun. I told Tom I was do this every year because I brought mine to show and I didn't make the finals on him. I said, I'll just let you keep training them and I'll just come show them. It'll be a whole lot easier on me.
Austin Roush of Pilot Point, Texas is riding a son of NRHA $1 million sire Gunner Trasha. He and Walla Walla Whiz, both owned by Archese Quarter Horses USA, lead the Futurity final in terms of offspring qualified with 5 each. This is Gonna Stop, owned by Alexandria Goki.
He's like a dog. He's like a puppy. He's never has a bad day, and just a really, really good horse. Fun to ride. Makes you feel like he can train a horse.
This is Austin's first NRHA Futurity Level 4 final, and he and his mount come away with a 220.5, which will no doubt earn Austin a check in several levels.
It's amazing. This horse is amazing. He doesn't bother him. He's with me the whole time. He's a great horse.
Andrea Fapani of Scottsdale rode this next horse to victory at the Reining by the Bay Futurity. This is Rancho Oso Rio's Designed to Spark by NRHA $3 million sire Jack's Electric Spark out of NRHA Futurity champion Tari's Designer Jeans. They earn a 222.5 to slip into a tie for second with Mike McIntyre and Paleface Whiz. NRHA $2 million rider Jason Van Landingham of Whitesboro, Texas, has one shot in the finals on a Vintage Smoke owned by Diane Mesmer. She has 2 horses qualified here, which is almost miraculous considering they are the first 2 reining horses Diane has ever owned, and she bought them both sight unseen as 4-month-olds. Jason ended up with this one because he had ridden the horse's half-brother by a sparkling vintage, the great Not Rough at All. It appears Diane made good choices all around because Jason and a Vintage Smoke turn in the best run so far, earning a 225.5 to take the lead by a full 3 points.
First of all, God is good. This horse came into this horse show feeling really good up until about a week ago, and then things just started kind of coming apart in the turn a little bit. And so I backed way off, and I was prayerful about it, and just came back because I knew it was in there. He turned huge tonight. He's always a huge stopper, and Circle's great, but he turned absolutely huge tonight, and that's the difference in him.
Now here's the other horse Diane Mesmer bought as a weanling, CSR Flash Mob. He and NRHA $2 million rider Jordan Larson have a costly overturned penalty, but otherwise a nice finals go. They end up with a 222 from the judges.
Yeah, this one's a lot like his daddy. He can turn pretty fast. Unfortunately, a little faster than I can control tonight. But he's good.
Other than that, the stops are huge.
Thank you. Yeah, he ran his heart out. He was really good, really good. If I hadn't overturned, I'd be close to Jason, but that's how it goes sometimes.
So Jason's 225.5 on board of Vintage Smoke still stands. In second is Mike McIntyre on Paleface Whiz, and in third, Jordan Larson and CSR Flash Mob. Coming up, we'll be in the saddle for a POV with Cole Price. We'll see Casey Deary go along with defending champion Craig Smersall and NRHA $1 million rider Tom McCutcheon. Coverage of the NRHA Futurity Open Championship Final is generously sponsored by Cedar Ridge Stallion Station, producing champions from the pasture to the show pen.
You're watching Horse of the West on RFD TV, presented by the Oklahoma City Convention and Visitors Bureau.
If you've been waiting for the perfect time to buy Inside Reining Training Secrets DVDs, this is it. While supplies last, order all 9 for just $59.99 with free shipping in the continental U.S. Learn training secrets from Hall of Fame members like Sean Flaherty and Tim McQuay, and nearly all of NRHA's $1 million riders. It's the best deal ever, and only while supplies last. Buy Inside Reining Training Secrets DVDs at InsideReining.com or call 405-399-3122. Welcome back to Horse of the West. The NRHA Futurity and Adequan North American Affiliate Championship is the biggest event in the sport of reining, drawing riders from all over the world and reining's best 3-year-olds. Numbers were up this year with more than 1,700 horses entered in all the open and non-pro Futurity levels. There were nearly 400 in the Level 4 Open Futurity alone, so making it to this top 30 final is a victory in itself. Jason Van Landingham squeaked in on the bubble with a Vintage Smoke, but it's a clean slate final and they are now holding down first place. Mike McIntyre and Paleface Wiz are in second, followed by Jordan Larson and CSR Flash Mob. That means the two horses Diane Mesmer bought as weanlings, sight unseen, are now sitting first and third in the biggest event in reining. Two-time NRHA Futurity champion Casey Deary of Weatherford, Texas, finished first in the prelims on Gunner Ricochet, but they end up with a 2:19 after a couple of bad breaks. Casey also has some tough luck with America's Supermodel out of NRHA Futurity champion America's Next Gun Model. The mare, owned by Whitmarsh Archese Partnership, pulled a shoe in the first go, and according to Casey, has not been quite the same since.
You know, I know she can turn more, and I know she can run harder, and I know she can stop more, but she was really good for me overall. I was trying to find decent ground for her because she is a really big stopper, and I was a little concerned about landing in somebody else's tracks, which we did.
Still, Casey and America's Supermodel earn a solid 223.5 to take over second place. Diane Mesmer isn't the only owner with a pair of horses in the Level 4 final. Tim Anderson of Millbank, South Dakota has a couple qualified as well, both ridden by Craig Smersall of Scottsdale, Arizona.
I just love reining. I love watching Craig ride my reiners. I love the reining community. I love the NRHA, and of course my heart's really with the Crisis Fund at the foundation, and it's just been a great life for me for the last 15 years to be in the reining pen.
Tim's first horse, the Star Jersey by Yellow Jersey, earns a 2:19. Tim's second horse pulls a shoe on the very first maneuver of the pattern. Ladies Dream of Blue Eyes by NRHA Hall of Fame member and $5 million sire Magnum Chick Dream still ends up earning a 222.5.
I was thrilled to death with that horse to stay with me like he did, and he just showed great and slowed down good. He turned good, he stopped good. I missed him on the left rollback stop, and that was my bad, but I got scared and nervous, and I did one of those, happens.
Nathan Piper of Pilot Point, Texas garners a 220 on a son of NRHA Hall of Fame member and $5 million sire Smart Spook named Patriot. He's owned by Shannon and Herschel Reed.
But praise the Lord, we're here Saturday night. I tell you what, that's icing on the cake just to get here.
And Matt Mills of Scottsdale earns a 221 on board Janice Dixon's Wallace Chick Diana by Walla Walla Wiz.
Yeah, so she ran and stopped great. Had a little trouble backing up, which that just kind of comes with the territory. And then starting the right spin, just got a little crossed up, and I think that cost me some points. And then the rest of the pattern, I thought she was flawless. I thought she was phenomenal.
Somewhere at State Fair Park, Jason Van Landingham is wearing out the leather in his boots, pacing as he waits to see if his score of 225.5 can possibly hold until the end.
I probably put 20 miles on my boots.
After marking a 207 on his first horse, Cole Price is hoping to turn up the jets on his other two, including the mare Isn't She Perfect, who surprised even Cole with a 227 in the first go.
I knew she was a big horse, big-time horse, but I didn't know that she would step up and go like that.
Coverage of the NRHA Futurity Open Championship final is generously sponsored by Cedar Ridge Stallion Station, producing champions from the pasture to the show pen.
Your horse inside and out with Dr. Joe Carter, sponsored by Behringer Ingelheim.
Today we're here with Trey Moncrief. Trey Moncrief's one of the best horseshoers. I consider him one of the best farriers in the country. Welcome to the show, Trey. Thanks for helping us out. And I think a lot of people wonder about, what are farriers doing when they're working with their horses' feet, building horseshoes and doing things like that. Trey's going to explain to us today, why do you always see farriers grinding these horseshoes when they're putting them on? Trey, what's going on when a horseshoer's doing that?
Well, there really is a reason why we're grinding, and mostly what we're doing is we're boxing and safing. Boxing is where we knock the edge off of the horseshoe on the sole side or the foot side of the horse, and box or safing is when we knock the edges off of the ground side. Safing and boxing is mostly done for safety, so the sharp edges aren't hitting the horse's other foot, and it helps keep horseshoes on.
Explain to us why we do heel checks and why that's important to maintain the safety and health of the foot.
The heel check isn't as much for safety as it is to allow the horse's foot to work and debris to to flow through the heel.
Well, thanks, Trey. Thanks for helping us out today. Learn a little bit more about horseshoeing and how to take care of horses' feet. And I'm Dr. Joe Carter with Your Horse Inside and Out.
Your Horse Inside and Out is sponsored by Behringer Ingelheim. Before making any decisions about your horse's health, be sure to contact your veterinarian.
Western Performance Horses. Stop.
We're back with more from Horse of the West at legendary State Fair Park in Oklahoma City. The NRHA Futurity Level 4 Championship is the title riders all over the world dream about, and we mean all over the world.
Since I was a little kid, that was my dream, so it was a very exciting moment for me.
This is Jonathan Baruch of Israel riding Rodion Kantakazine Jr.'s Ready and Willing by Walla Walla Wiz. So how did a kid from Israel end up reining anyway?
I was ADHD as a kid, so my parents needed to keep me occupied somehow. They heard that horses are good for ADHD, and it became, a big part of my heart. It was something that it was just something that I wanted to do every day.
Here in his first NRHA Futurity Level 4 final, Jonathan Baruch, who's based in Marietta, Oklahoma, pilots Ready and Willing to a 219.5.
How did it feel when you finally got that chance to ride down through the Gateway of Champions on finals night?
I was actually very emotional, but I think I was able to regroup, and I'm very proud of both of these horses.
Danny Tremblay is a French-Canadian based in Overbrook, Oklahoma, who also grew up dreaming of a win at this event. He's become a regular finals qualifier and is back this year with a son of HF mobster named Thug Life, owned by Ruth Hamlin and Pascal Giroux.
His boy name is Tupac, so makes sense, right? He's a pretty cool horse. I mean, I had a good year on him. He's been really good to me, really fun to show. And, to make the open final here was so hard this year. They need a great horse.
In fact, it took an average of a 219.5 over 2 preliminary go-rounds just to get to the final this year. And that is coincidentally the score the judges award to Danny Tremblay and Tupac. Danny says making the finals here in Oklahoma City for the NRHA Futurity and Derby is the payoff for a lot of hard work.
During the year, sometimes we struggle, we have a hard time and stuff, but every time I come to the Derby for 30 and we make those big finals, that I know why I'm doing this now. They keep the ground good, and it's the crowd is so nice, and it's well organized. They have mini arena all around the place to ride. You can show horses for sale. You can get your horses ready to show. It's pretty nice.
NRHA $1 Million rider Tom McCutcheon is a longtime qualifier here who has 2 horses in the final, including Got a Good Night, another son of Gunner's Special Night. They earn a 221.5. Cole Price told Jason Van Landingham last year during his first Level 4 finals appearance that he planned to be back this year, and here he is in the final minutes of the NRHA Futurity Open Championship final with a chance to take a shot at Jason's lead. Somewhere, Jason is on the grounds of State Fair Park, not watching the competition.
I didn't want to root against my friends, and so I just I started walking.
And Cole Price is learning firsthand the challenge of managing 3 horses in the final.
I literally had no time to warm her up. I didn't even turn her before I went in.
We'll see how it goes for Cole and Jason when we come back. Don't ride off.
You're watching Horse of the West on RFD TV, presented by the Oklahoma City Convention and Visitors Bureau.
If you've been waiting for the perfect time to buy Inside Reining Training Secrets DVDs, this is it. While supplies last, order all 9 for just $59.99 with free shipping in the continental U.S. Learn training secrets from Hall of Fame members like Sean Flaherty and Tim McQuay, and nearly all of NRHA's $1 Million riders. It's the best deal ever, and only while supplies last. Buy Inside Reining Training Secrets DVDs at InsideReining.com or call 405-399-3122. Welcome back to Horse of the West, coming to you from Oklahoma City and the Big Kahuna in reining the NRHA Open Futurity Championship Final. Former champion Jason Van Landingham was draw 13 out of 30 this year and has been leading since then with a 225.5. Cole Price, who recently moved his operation to Pilot Point, Texas, made the final here for the first time last year. This year he was able to qualify the maximum of 3 horses, but he's down to his final mount now. Isn't She Perfect by Walla Walla Wiz and owned by Amy Meadows. The gray mare marked a 227 in the first go, surprising even Cole. She was a 220.5 in the second go because of some penalty points, with a raucous crowd sensing there could be a change in the lead. It's going to be very, very close. And the score from the judges, a 225 flat, just half a point shy of the lead.
Kind of think in the warm-up I had her a little rattled. But luckily I had enough time there with the extended drag that I got to, I'm gonna cry, that I got to slow her down and soften her out.
Fiance, she's very excited. Hey, you are badass.
We get married in 2 weeks. Oh, come here. So I thought I had her rattled a little bit, just trying to get everything done.
But Cole and Isn't She Perfect end up with the reserve championship in only his second Level 4 Open final, and that's pretty darn close to perfect. Cole isn't sure whether he or the son of owner Amy Meadows, big-time NRHA non-pro Jack Meadows, will ride the mare from here, but he's good either way.
As long as that mare's happy, I'm happy. I love that mare.
And Jason Van Landingham can finally celebrate his second NRHA Futurity Open Championship, this time on a vintage smoke.
I'm having a hard time taking this all in right now. It's pretty amazing. That little horse, he's just all heart. And I knew I had a nice one, and things weren't working out like I wanted at the beginning of the week, and we just kept building and building and praying, and we just all got it. It just all came together tonight. Tonight's run was the best ride I've probably had in a month on him. And I knew it was all there, but it came together at the right time.
Owner Diane Mesmer is also having trouble processing the win.
I'm in shock. Yeah, very much in shock. Happy, but in shock.
And the 7th place finish of CSR Flash Mob, since these are the first 2 reining horses Diane has ever owned, and again, she purchased them sight unseen as 4-month-olds.
That's mind-boggling.
Yeah, it is.
That take you to Vegas?
I think I hit the lottery, the biggest lottery of all right here.
The Level 3 and Primetime Championships go to Mike McIntyre on Everett and Karen Wiggins' Paleface Whiz. The Level 1 and 2 Championships to first-time finals qualifier Austin Roush on Alexandria Goki's Gonna Stop. By the way, both of Jason Van Landingham's NRHA Futurity champions have been sired by a sparkling vintage.
Yeah, how about that? So anybody out there that's got a good vintage stud, send them my way.
Be sure to watch in the weeks ahead for coverage of the Cinch NRHA Futurity Non-Pro, sponsored by Cedar Ridge Stallion Station, and the NRHA Invitational Freestyle. See you then.